ready?
Yeah.
Shalom, we out here once again giving all praises to
Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash.
So you have anything you want to open up with? You got any scripture you want to open up with?
Oh, yeah. Start with our reading. Let's start second Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Yeah, so we always stress how we're living in the last days and how in the next world to come we're gonna be able to actually like say that we have power over this world. You know, we can rule the world. So right now Esau's ruling the world.
Another one. This is Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. It says, Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And when you go into that word translated, it means like transfer. So it goes to show you that the time that we're coming into, there's going to be a new guard. You know, there's going to be new rulership over the planet Earth. You know, Esau has it right now. He's having his fun in the sun. But Israel, we got nuts.
Get Proverbs 18:14.
This is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 14. It says, The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge.
Read that again from the top, verse 14.
Proverbs 8:14 again, 18 and 14. Is it 8 and 14 or 18 and 14?
18.
Proverbs 18 and 14. It says, The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity.
Yeah, the spirit of man will sustain his infirmities because we all go through things physically. You know what I'm saying? We all have ailments. You know, you might wake up and your back hurts, your legs hurt.
It says, But a wounded spirit who can bear.
Yeah, or this spirit who can bear. And right now, as a nation of people, the Israelites are a depressed people spiritually. Depressed spiritually, whether you realize it or not. Because it's not like we live in a free world where you have reign to do whatever you want to do, you know, within the realm of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we still have to wake up and have Esau and power over this world over us, which is not fun. That's why we want the kingdom.
Esau just got his foot on our neck.
And sometimes you sit back and think like how you're so oppressed in this society. You get mad, you get angry, you get sad.
You start getting mad at the people. Like, y'all don't see this shit? That was the point, or continue?
Keep going.
Proverbs 18 and 14 says, The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge.
Yeah, the ear of the wise seek after knowledge. So no, realistically, when you hear this word, the battery on your back is supposed to be activated. If you even ever had the battery, some people never had it.
It says, A man's gift maketh room for him. It says, A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him.
That's it. That's it.
This is Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit.
So, if you have like half a mind, then you should really be mad and angry at the current state of this world.
It says, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these?
Yes, so in other words, it's okay to feel angry and upset of this current predicament that we're in. However, don't take action. Don't take it upon yourself to try to bring this man's system down, because you're gonna fail.
So say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these?
Yeah, because if you're in your right mind, you would know that it was the Most High who put us in this predicament. He's the one who put Esau on top of the world. So you really can't even get that mad.
Right.
You know? Because as easy as he put Esau on top, it's going to be easy for him to put us on top and then put him down. You just got to wait and be patient.
So say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these?
Yeah.
For thou doest not inquire wisely concerning this.
Because the glorious days is gone.
It says, wisdom is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit to them that see the sun. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. It says, consider the work of the Most High, for who can maketh that straight which he hath made crooked? See, like you said, we can't take matters into our own hand. You know, it's futile. The Lord has things set up the way he has them. Like, we can't bring down Esau's system. We don't have that kind of might in our hands.
We don't even have the firepower.
We just got to wait on the Lord.
I mean, for you to try to take down Esau, you would be trying to diminish his blessing. Like, who are we to do that?
Right.
His blessing is the sword. You want to get that?
Genesis. I'll start at 40. This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. You know, that's just the spirit Esau has on him. You know, he just causes chaos.
What are you looking for?
I think there's another one in Revelation. I'm trying to think of it. Revelation 19, I think. Let's check. Revelation 19 and 15. Let's start up some more. Yeah, I'll start at 14. I'll start at 14. Revelation 19 and 14. It says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty. So it's going to be Yahushua that comes and takes down this kingdom, and Esau, and we rise up. You know, only Yahushua and the angels can do that. We can't do that for ourselves.
Right. There's more of that, or?
No, that was it.
All right. I got a precept. Romans 12 and 19. I could read it. I got it right here. Romans 12 and 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So again, we can't take it upon ourselves to bring down this man's system. You know, all we can do is just be patient and wait for the end of this world. And that would be kind of selfish, not even kind of, that would be selfish of us to think that we could take down this system and take away the glory from Yahushua.
Right.
Because he's been waiting over 2,000 years to do this. He doesn't even know when he's going to be sent.
Right.
Only the Father knows.
This is James chapter 5, verse 7. That was it on that?
Yeah, that's it, man.
This is James chapter 5, verse 7. It says, be patient therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receives the early and latter rain.
How y'all brothers doing?
What's going on?
Yeah.
It says, be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take, my brethren, the prophets who have spoken in the name of the Lord for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy.
Yeah, so if you know about the story of Job, he was getting cursed. He was a man of substance. He was a man of status. You know, he had wealth, and he had his wife. But when things weren't going good anymore, he saw who was really in his corner. You know, remember when his wife said, "Curse the Most High and die," and then Job was the only one who stood 10 toes down and kept the faith. So it's really like that's our life story as well.
Last verse. It says, but above, James 7 and 12. It says, but above all things, my brethren, swear not, neither by heaven, neither by the earth, neither by any other oath, but let your yea be yea, and your nay, nay, lest ye fall into condemnation.
Yes, because there's no such thing as gray area. Right is right and wrong is wrong. It's black and white.
You got a truth and you got a lie. There's no middle ground. That was it in Romans, right?
Yeah, that's the point.
This is back to Ecclesiastes 7 and 13. It says, consider the work of the Most High, for who can make it that straight which he hath made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider the Most High also hath set the one over against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness.
Yeah, and that's why you really can't envy the wicked. You know, people want wonder, like, yo, when when is the wicked or the evil people of this world going to get judged? When are they going to get their just due? You know, how long are the people that try to do right? How long are they going to stay down? You know what I mean? Everybody's looking for their arc in this world, but the reality of it is you just have to be patient because everybody has their time in the sun. Right now it's Esau's time. Right now it's just our time to like remain humble and meek. That's why the scriptures say the meek will inherit the earth. That's what it's talking about. Because how we are a righteous people that are supposed to be living in a dynasty, yet we're on the bottom of society.
I got a precept. This is Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, I have observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not necessarily wealthy, and those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It is all decided by chance, by being in the right place at the right time.
So everything is about probability and whether or not Most High is going to allow things to go the way that you want them to.
Like when you catch a hell, like you just got to be in the mindset, all right, it's just my turn, you know? It's not like it's going to be like this forever, you know, it's just my turn today. So it helps you deal with it better.
It's the law of averages.
Right.
Like there's only but so many L's you can take until you're due for a win.
Mm-hmm. Vice versa. Like for example, you ever go somewhere and they mess up your order? It's like, damn, it ain't really nothing to get mad about. It was just your turn. It's not like they messed up everybody's order today.
That must have happened to you recently or some shit.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, yeah, I guess it was just my turn today. Mess my shit up.
That's why I make sure my order's right before I leave.
Word.
Check the bag. Alright.
Damn. I'm gonna read it again. Ecclesiastes 9:11 in NLT. Actually, let's read it in the King James. It says, I returned and saw under the sun the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all.
How many men up north didn't get their shot like Jordan?
Right.
Isn't that what roughly, merely paraphrasing how Jadakiss said it? You know what I mean? So time and chance happens to everybody. Everybody's gonna have their time and their chance. Some people never get their time, but they'll get their time on the back end.
Right. Everybody, like Esau right now, this is his time. This is his time that he's living in. This is his world. But now, when he's taken out, it's gonna be our turn.
So this is just the era of us being oppressed.
Yeah.
Spiritually. It's just what it is.
Back to Ecclesiastes. You got a precept?
Nah.
Back to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 15. It says, all things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise.
Yeah, so don't be over righteous because we're not perfect in this world and under these bodies. So, don't get too high, don't get too low.
It says, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? Is it good that thou shouldest take hold of this? Ye also from this withdraw not thine hand, for he that feareth God shall come forth of them all.
Yeah, so those that have the fear of the Most High, they're the ones that are going to come out on top when it's all said and done.
It says, wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city.
Yeah. So wisdom is a gift that comes from the Most High when you read the scriptures and when you have the Holy Spirit. So that's worth more than like anything that you can have on this earth. When you really come to think of it, it may not seem as though because it doesn't help your situation now. Maybe you might be looking for a come up like, yo, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna pay my bills, my rent.
I need to make some shake.
Yeah,
I'm fucked up. They about to cut my water off.
like yo, I'm trying to find a wife, but I can't in this world. You know what I mean?
A little bit more. Ecclesiastes 7:20 says, "For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. Also take no heed unto all words that are spoken, lest thou hear thy servant curse thee. For oftentimes also thine own heart knoweth that thou thyself likewise hast cursed others. All this have I proved by wisdom. I said I will be wise, but it was far from me." That's some funny stuff. Got a picture?
Job 24 and 12.
This is Job chapter 24, verse 12. It says, "Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet the Most High layeth not folly to them."
Yeah, because it's like us, we're waiting for the Most High to curse and judge us. So, and we just gotta be patient. Read that again.
Job 24 and 12 says, "Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet the Most High layeth not folly to them. They are of those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy, and in the night is a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, No eye shall see me, and disguiseth his face. In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light, for the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift as the waters, their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholdeth not the way of the vineyard, drought and heat consume the snow waters. So doeth the grave those which have sinned."
So this is talking about the people that do wrong on this earth.
It says the womb shall forget him. The womb, no, Salakia. It says the womb shall forget him, the worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreateth the barren that beareth not, and doeth not good to the widow.
That's the point. So, every dog has their day, man. Every dog has their day, like the saying goes.
This is Matthew chapter 5. I'll start at the top. It says, "And seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." You see, these are characteristics that the elect would have, in the times that we're living in now. There will be a distinction.
Yeah, because some people, they like it here.
Yeah,
They want to stay here.
these niggas wanna stay
They living their best life.
getting to it.
You know what I'm saying? You think a guy like Jamie Foxx, he want to give up as well? You know, he likes it here. Floyd Mayweather, he supposedly just bought some condominiums, some buildings over there in the city, New York City. He's making quote unquote power moves.
See, people like that, you can't tell them that the Lord is coming to destroy America
They don't want to hear that.
at all. Again, Matthew 5:5, it says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you, falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad." So like it, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. You see? And that's where our reward is, in the heavens. That's where we're going to get our reward, when the kingdom is established. But right now, we're not going to have our reward here, because this place is just vile. It's foul, and the Lord just has to come and destroy it. You got these people walking around with flowers in their hand, ready to celebrate Mother's Day tomorrow. Like this, we just need to get out of here. This place is tired, it's boring, it's played out. We just need to shift. We need something better.
And what these people don't realize is that these so-called holidays, these man-made holidays, it's just a ploy for the white man to get more money out of you.
And it's idolatry. That's all. Let's sit on that.
So, Hosea 4.
Start at the top.
4 and 10.
It's Hosea chapter 4, verse 10.
NLT.
The NLT. It says, "They will eat and still be hungry. They will play the prostitute and gain nothing from it, for they have deserted the Lord. To worship other gods, wine has robbed my people." Salaki.
Allergies.
Hosea 4 and 11, it says, "To worship other gods, wine has robbed my people of their understanding. They ask a piece of wood for advice. They think a stick can tell them the future. Longing after idols has made them foolish."
Yeah, longing after idols. And believe it or not, money can be an idol. You know,
It's definitely an idol.
people put that at the top of the pedestal. They chase that, and there's nothing they won't do to get it.
They think it's the answer to all their problems. They think once they get to the bag, they'll have no more problems.
Especially Jake, you know what I'm saying? Because Jake, he ain't never had nothing his whole life. And when he finally gets some money, he's not willing to do anything to put his people in position to be more successful, you know?
And money, it comes with its own set of problems, if you make it enough.
Because if you think about it, everybody that tries to have outreach in the community, that's from the community, and they try to like better the community, they're always showed by the higher ups that, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. You know?
Shit, Jake will show you not that you can't even help him. You try and give Jake a hand, they'll shit on you sometimes. But that's why in the kingdom of heaven, where we're all on equal, I'm not gonna say equal footing, but we're all on the same page and under the same vibration, we can thrive together with one another.
Because LeBron James has enough money to where he can give somebody $1 million or even $500,000. That'll be life-changing money.
They won't even feel it.
To them, and he doesn't have to worry about it. He has a lifetime contract with Nike. He got like a $40 million a year job. You know, that's his salary.
Right.
You won't feel that, but Yet you don't see dudes like him, having a direct, positive effect on the community. What they'll typically do is they'll set up a foundation of charity, which is really just a tax write-off.
That's what his the I Promise school is, just a tax write-off.
Exactly. So
How many people does that help?
let LeBron come down to the hood, start giving out money, thousands of dollars or $1 million. You know what I'm saying? People, they're gonna pull him to the side and tell him, hey, stop doing it.
They gotta defend his ear and tap him on the
At least the
shoulder.
farmers can be like, yo, you should have tapped in with us. We need that protection.
Right.
You're causing a frenzy. It's a windy day.
Nice win.
Well, anyway, where was we at?
Hosea 4 and 11 in the NLT. It says, to worship other gods, wine has robbed my people of their understanding. They ask a piece of wood for advice. They think a stick can tell them the future. Blessings. It
Thanks.
says, longing after idols has made them foolish. They have played the prostitute, serving other gods and deserting their power.
Because that's exactly what you are in the eyes of the Most High when you worship other gods or when you put anything before the Most High, Truly, a man's purpose is the Most High. It's supposed to be God first, and then everything else is as follows. As for the woman, it's supposed to be the husband first, and then everything else is as follows. Because how a household is supposed to be structured is the man is supposed to be a man of understanding, He's supposed to be that one that's tapped in with the higher power and with the Most High.
Then your woman learns from you.
Yeah.
So on, and the children learn from the women, so on and so forth.
That's supposed to be the order.
But now here in this setup, we dealing with broken homes. That's why we need to get out of here. We can't never have it the way we want it here, the way it's intended to be. Hosea 4 and 13 in the NLT. It says they offer sacrifices to idols on the mountaintops. They go up into the hills to burn incense in the pleasant shade of oak. It says poplars and terebinth trees. That is why your daughters turn to prostitution and your daughter-in-law commit adultery. But why should I punish them for their prostitution and adultery? For your men are doing the same thing, sinning with whores and shrine prostitutes, O foolish people. You refuse to understand, so you will be destroyed.
Yeah, but that's speaking about the Israelites, the people on the song, man. And that's why we're in this bad situation. And really, what we should do is get closer to our power. Seek after that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which comes from the Most High.
It says, though you, Israel, are a prostitute, may Judah avoid such guilt. Do not join the false worship at Gilgal or Bethaven.
So to bring that up to modern day terms, don't join these Baptist churches, these Methodist churches, these Catholic churches. You see now they just picked a new pope.
Yeah.
Another Edomite.
Of course.
Makes no difference in our lives.
Yeah. It says, do not join the false worship at Gilgal or Bethaven, even though they take oaths there in the Lord's name.
Yeah, they swear on Jesus Christ. They think that's the name.
Jehovah.
Yeah, Jehovah or Yahweh.
It says, Israel is stubborn, like a stubborn heifer. So should the Lord feed her like a lamb in a lush pasture. Leave Israel alone because she is married to idolatry. When the rulers of Israel finish their drinking, off they go to find some prostitutes. They love shame more than honor, so a mighty wind will sweep them away. Their sacrifices to idols will bring them shame.
Yep.
That's it on that.
That's the point.
got another precept?
No.
Is that 16 to 16? This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 16 in the NLT. It says, powerful kings and mighty nations will satisfy your every need, as though you were a child nursing at the breast of a queen. You will know at last that I, the Lord, am your Savior, and your Redeemer, the mighty one of Israel. So that's saying how, in the kingdom, when we're in rulership, the nations that rule here on this side now, they're going to be serving us. They're going to be our slaves in the kingdom.
And it's ironic to some people, but not to us.
Again, that's the transferring of power from, the top wicked elite, the Edomites, to the Israelites. It says, I will exchange your bronze for gold, your iron for silver, and your wood for bronze, and your stones for iron. I will make peace your leader and righteousness your ruler. Violence will disappear from your land. The desolation and destruction of war will end. Salvation will surround you like city walls, and praise will be on the lips of all who enter you.
That's talking about in the kingdom, because in the kingdom we're going to have our own government and sovereignty. Yahweh Shai he's going to be the king. He's going to be ruling along with other kings in order. It's really going to be a dictatorship. Some people are clamoring for that now in this current modern day era that we're living in. I believe they was talking about how they want that in either Spain or Portugal, because right now they're not doing too good. Those countries are collapsing. They're going through the same thing that America's going through. People complaining about the cost of living, how they can't afford a house, they can't find a job, and how it was easier for old generations to come up and be successful compared to this newer generation where it's like you really can't do nothing.
Right. It says it's like we have more money now, but we have less. We can't get as much. But this is the wealthiest we've been as a people. Isaiah 60 and 19 says, no longer will you need the sun to shine by day, nor the moon to give its light by night. For the Lord your power will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your glory. Your sun will never set, your moon will not go down. For the Lord will be your everlasting light, your days of mourning will come to an end.
So what is it? The sun represents knowledge, and the moon represents understanding. So we're going to get complete wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as a people from the Most High once that day comes. It's not going to be like how it is now, where the truth is like underground. It's only for a selective few people. You know what I'm saying? It's here a little and there a little.
It says, all your people will be righteous.
All your people. That even goes for 2/3 that don't make it.
Because all your people will be righteous. They will possess their land. They will possess their land forever. For I will plant them there with my own hands.
So every Israelite's going to have a plot of land. They're going to have something to call their own. It's not going to be project buildings and tenements that, we got to continue to live in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Pay rent and shit.
Landlord.
It says, for I will plant them there with my own hands in order to bring myself glory. The smallest family will become 1,000 people.
The smallest family will become 1,000 people because we're going to be able to have families, children, and we'll be able to embrace them and enjoy them.
Have multiple wives. You're messing around and have 6 women pregnant at once.
Yeah, and then you won't fuck around. You won't even see the baby until he's like 12 years old.
Right.
Bring him to me when he's ready to be a man.
And he's still going to be right. It's not like now where you can leave your child for 12 years. He's going to grow up to be a complete terror on the community.
You may not even be there when he's born, or she.
Right.
You might be somewhere else doing something else. Lounging, relaxing.
Right.
You might be with your other wife, and your wife that's giving birth, she's not going to be tripping about it because she already knows what it is.
She in the right spirit. That's the thing. The women now, even the men, they're not in the right spirit. We're not in the right vibration. But in the kingdom of heaven, we're all going to be under the right vibration.
You got nothing but worries here in this world.
Right.
But in the kingdom, all that's going to go away.
Here in this world, you're so unsure of everything.
The most you're going to have to worry about in the kingdom is how you want your house to be structured.
Right.
You know, do you want that Gothic architecture, or do you want some Caribbean-inspired architecture? You know, oh, do you want your house in this country, or do you want it in Europe? You want it in South America? You know, that's gonna be the most you got to worry about is those type of decisions. Which is those are them good type of problems.
Good problems to have.
That sounds like one of them good problems.
That's what you call one of them good problems. Last verse, Isaiah 60 and 22. It says, the smallest family will become 1,000 people, and the tiniest group will become a mighty nation. It says, at the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And that's what we're waiting on, for the Lord to make it happen.
Yeah.
Send his son down here and save us. And destroy this place and put Esau in subjection unto us.
Exactly. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Shalom.
Shalom.
Until next time.